Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of Story Time with Auntie Amos. I hope you guys have been enjoying the content. It's really been kind of therapeutic for me to kind of get these stories out. But anyway, I wanted to tell you guys about. I mentioned last week briefly about my mom and my brother's dad. So this week, I want to kind of introduce that topic to you and tell you about. Um, what it's like when you're, or what it was like for me when my parents started dating again. Like, I told you how it was when they got a divorce. I've told you how um, it was adjusting to me going to spend the weekends with my dad, and adjusting to being with a single mom, a single mother. But let me tell you about them dating. So, my mom in particular, well, I'll start with my dad. So my dad's first romantic partner that I was introduced to um, after their divorce, I think he tricked me. I can't prove this because he unfortunately he has passed away, so I'm unable to ask him. But I think he tricked me. So what happened was, like I said, he was living in a little apartment, and there I had a friend there, and my friend, I was out playing with her, and then she took me to another lady's apartment. So we go to this lady's apartment. It's not her mother. It's just a lady who lives in the same apartment complex. And the lady is, very nice. And she says she wants to take us bowling. There's a bowling alley across the street, and she says she wants to take us bowling. So she tells us to ask, or tells me to ask my dad if she can take me. So I go and ask my dad, and my dad said yes, which I thought was, I mean, now in hindsight, was crazy because you don't know this lady. But he did say, I have to meet her. And so I introduced him to her. And it probably was a couple of more weekends where I went to his house and ended up spending some time with the lady. But, I liked her. I kind of considered her like an adult friend, I guess you would call. But one weekend I go over and she's there. Like my dad's like, we're going to go to dinner, and she's there. And so I'm looking like, what is she doing here? And he was like, she's my guest. And so clearly I have realized that they are on a date, and I'm almost like the third wheel. And so I kind of copped an attitude like, what is she doing here? So my dad told me, you will be respectful. And of course I was, but after that they started dating. And so all this time I'm thinking I introduced them, but now in hindsight, I think they tricked me into just seeing if I would like her on my own before he introduced her to me as his girlfriend. But anyway, very lovely woman. She was a beautician. So she was into fashion. She had me modeling in fashion shows. She would do my hair, which was a whole nother ordeal with my mom because my mom did not like the fact that she was doing my hair. Um, and so anyway, it wasn't a huge issue for me after that one incident where I got a little disrespectful. But with my mom, I don't recall her really dating. I think she kind of did a lot of her dating behind my back or possibly on the weekends when I was going to my dad's house. But the first guy that I remember her introducing me to was my brother's dad. A completely different experience. By this time, I'm 13. It's a completely different experience than meeting my dad's girlfriend. My brother's dad, when they were dating, I didn't really have an issue with it. But what my mom did that caused me to have an issue, my birthday was coming up, my 14th birthday, and I wanted to get my face made up. A lot of you might be young, you may not remember Fashion Fair makeup used to have like a makeup stand in the mall. I wanted to get my face made up, and the I asked her if I could do it, and she told me to ask him. She was like, "Ask him if you can get your face made up for your 14th birthday." And I'm looking like, why would I need to ask him anything? And of course, he said, yeah, because he was trying to get in good, but it really kind of rubbed me the wrong way that that was her approach. And then I think that was probably the beginning of the end of my relationship with him, because it was always strained after that. When he and my mom got married, he told me, one day you're going to call me dad. If you're a man and you're listening to this video, never tell your stepchild that, because especially if her dad is alive and well and she sees him every weekend, because I did not take that well. I was highly PO'd that he told me I was going to call him dad, and I was instantly, no, I'm not. I'll never call you that. And the crazy part is, I stopped calling him anything. Like, I used to call him by his name, Mr. whatever your first name is. I stopped calling him anything. Like, I literally, if I had to say something to him, like if my mom was like, tell him that I said come here, I'll walk in and say, my mom says come here. I wouldn't call him by any name. I mean, it's so rude and disrespectful. Now, I don't advise it. I do not recommend, but that was my story. Like, he came in the wrong way, and it just never recovered from there. Our relationship never recovered after that. And besides, like, we were still living in my house that was my dad's house. So, or, I looked at it as the house that my mom and dad bought together. And so my mom's new husband moved into that house. And so it's like he moved in and made me feel like a stranger, or like I was a guest in my own home. I felt like the third wheel. Which at my dad's house, I definitely didn't feel that way, even though he had more than one girlfriend. He that first lady, they dated for a few years, and I think she wanted to get married, and he never wanted to remarry, and so that relationship didn't work out. And then he got a new girlfriend. She and I, our birthday was the same day, and so I really liked her, and she was much younger than him, so she was closer in age to me than she was to him. And so I liked her too. But my mom's husband didn't work out. But he did do one thing good. He gave me my little brother, who I love and adore. The way that those women interacted with me, even though they were not my step parent, they were, they did live with my dad. So, they were in charge of caring for me whenever I came to my dad's house for the weekends. And how I interacted with my mom's husband, it kind of formed when I got married, how I was going to be a step parent. So my first husband, he had a child from a previous relationship that I adored. I came right in being the best stepmom, just making sure he had everything he needed. And then my current husband, this is both of our second marriage. So he had 3 kids. I had one child, and then we have one together. But because of the things that I learned from my step parents, it kind of formed how I step parent. It kind of like, I don't pressure the children to like me. I don't overstep. I don't overly communicate with their mothers, because I'm not trying to replace anybody. I just want the kids to have their own opinion of me, and treat me with the same respect that I will treat them with. And like, when I tell you guys, I have the best blended family. Like, I love my stepkids like they're my own. I like, me calling them my stepkids is crazy. It's foreign to me now, because I don't refer to them as my stepkids. If anyone asks me how many kids I have 5 kids. Like, I love them to no end, and their mom knows I love them to no end. Like, she sends me Happy Mother's Day texts on Mother's Day, because she knows I love her kids and I would do anything for them. But I never came in and said, one day you're going to call me mama. Like, no, that's not how step parenting works. But I think that's enough of a story for this week. Next week, I'll give you a little bit more advice only because this story is kind of triggering some clients that I've had in the past where it was the step parent that actually came in, or the dad's girlfriend or mom's boyfriend that came in, and that's the reason they were in court. But I'll talk about that next week. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next week. That's it from Auntie Amos.